Actually, this is in response to a question I got on YouTube by user Pat Downing 83. He was asking on my video concerning the RC5 if I had any suggestions on how to get an MC6 PRO to control an RC600. Then he later on goes to say that his intentions are to have access to tracks 4 through 6, but he wants to control those through the MC6. So he wants button A on the MC6 PRO to record play track 4 and then use button B on the MC6 PRO to stop the track, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how to set up one of these switches, or actually it'll be 2 switches, and then hopefully from there you can take the information and run with it. So there is actually a little bit of strangeness with Boss MIDI communications, things that vary from the usual. But the first thing I'm going to show you here is the MC6 PRO. All right, that's basically it. Everything's empty. Right next to it I have the RC600, and what I'm going to do eventually towards the end of this video is I will show you a close-up of the LED screen and what the settings are changed from that point. So, but where we start is with the editor. We're basically just going to kind of do everything within the MC6 editor and then follow up from there. Okay, so the most important thing to do is to put the controller in looper mode, because the way these Morningstar controllers are, they come out of the box to sort of wait for secondary commands. Looper mode basically says, don't wait, this is exactly what I intend to do. You know, it doesn't wait for 2 button presses, it doesn't wait for sort of long presses or whatever. So we're going to set this controller in this particular bank, which is bank 2. We're going to set that into looper mode. The way to do that is we're actually going to just choose button F, switch F, okay? That's in the top right corner of the MC6 PRO. And we're going to change this empty, we're going to write in looper mode. All right. And it's really easy. What we do is we go down here to message 1, and we're going to choose long press. That is important here. You want to do long press, not release, but long press. And then we go up here and just scroll down this sub menu to where you see looper mode. And there it is. And then it's looper mode. We'll keep it on toggle. And scroll on down here, and we're going to say apply to selected switches only. And we'll switch over here to F. And that's it. All right. So how that works basically is, let's back out here, make this a little more complicated for me. And we go to guitar cam. Basically how that works is I just did this switch so that if I was to long press, it would enter into looper mode. Okay. So you can see this little red box that popped up. It's basically saying that it went into looper mode. All right, set that back down. So we go up to switch A. Okay, this is the bottom left corner of your MC6 PRO. And we're going to make this track 4. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the short name. We're going to do some shorthand. TRK 4 P/R, right? Track 4, play, record. All right. And then we're going to scroll on down. Now here's where things get a little weird from your typical MIDI communication. First thing we got to do, actually, oh, I forgot. We got to go up here and switch to toggle mode on. All right, see how he's highlighted green? Toggle mode on. Message scroll off stays off. Toggle group none. And then we're going to scroll on down to basically keep these top 4 messages within my window. We have to send 2 messages per command on Boss. Pretty much every Boss pedal that I deal with, I have to send a positive command and then chase it with a negative command. Positive meaning 127, negative meaning 0. That's just a way that Boss handles MIDI. So you basically set it up as a press 127, release 0, and that sort of resets the communication with the Boss pedal. So that's what this looks like. We're going to do preset A or switch A, that's going to be press. Down to CC, now here's where it gets important for toggle, position 1. In order to keep things easy for us, I'm just going to pick a simple CC number 1. It can obviously be whatever you want. My number is 1. If you're controlling a bunch of pedals with the same MIDI channel, you'll want to think about what CC number you want to send, as well as what MIDI channel. I have my RC600 set up to MIDI channel 10, so we're going to change MIDI channel to 10. That's just me. CC value's got to be 127. I mean, technically it could be anything 64 and higher, but just to keep it all clean and tidy, 127. Now, the next one, message 2, is going to be release. See, this one's press, this is release. We're going to go with CC again. We're going to go with position 1 again. CC number 1 again. CC value is going to stay at 0. And then MIDI channel 10. Okay, those 2 messages, message 1 and message 2, that is 1 command. That's basically going to start recording. Okay, why did you change? All right. Okay. Then we'll go down to message 3 and message 4. We're going to do press again. We're going to do CC again. This time position is going to be 2. This is the toggle part of this communication. CC number is going to be 1 again. CC value is going to be 127. MIDI channel is 10. Message 4 is going to be release. This is basically when you lift your foot. Okay, press is when you step on it, and release is when you lift your foot off the switch. CC, position 2. CC number 1 again. All 4 of these have the exact same CC number. Whichever CC number you go with, all 4 of these have to have the same one. CC value stays at 0. And 10. So that is a full communication with track 4 on your RC600. The preset, very important. Okay, you got to hit save preset. Okay, I'm going to back out to this, and let's go to this camera again. So now you can see on the MC6 6 Pro, on that A switch, it says track 4, play, record. Now, in the user's question, he said about making switch B as stop. But I'm actually thinking I want to make switch D as stop. And then I would do track 5, play, record, track 5, stop, track 6, play, record, track 6, stop, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to set up everything for track 4 for you. Then you can basically use that for track 5 and track 6, right? Obviously you'll want different CC numbers, etc., but this is how you do track 4. So right now I'm going to set up switch D to stop track 4. Okay. So here's what we're looking at. Switch D, we're going to go over here. Now he's all new, fresh, shiny, and nothing's been done to him. So what we're gonna do is keep it pretty easy. We're gonna go track 4, stop. All right, and we'll change the short name. Let's see how many letters it lets me put here. Okay, let me put all of it. Cool. So this does not need to be a toggle. This is actually just one command, right? With the play and record, you're hitting that button twice, so you need to set that up as a toggle. But with this guy, we're setting it up, you're just pressing it once and it's stopping the track. Now we could actually do track 4 stop, and when you, let's see, how would we do this? When you press down on it, it would stop the track, and if you long press on it, it would delete the track. I think that's the way I'm gonna set this up for you. If you don't wanna do it that way, then don't do message 2. All right, so here we are. We're not doing toggle mode. I'm gonna go over here and scroll down to message 1. And to keep things simple, we're actually gonna go with release. When you have multiple communications on one switch, not using toggle mode, I find it best to start with release, right? You could, in fact, with this one, you could do press, but just for the sake of continuity, we're going to call it release. And we're going to say, nope, why did you do that? CC, it's going to be both. CC number 2, okay? Obviously, it's a different command. So we're going to go with a positive of 127. And of course, we're going to go with MIDI channel 10 again. Now, down here, just for the sake of it, I'm going to do a long press release. We're going to send another CC. It's going to be both. And we're going to send a CC number of 3 with a CC value of 127. And then we're going to pick, again, MIDI channel 10. And then, most important, we want to go up and save the preset. Okay, so I think that's about it, what we're doing with as far as the editor. So let's go over here to the MC6 PRO again. And now you can see track 4, stop, track 4, play and record. Okay, so now what we're going to do is set up the RC600 real quickly to recognize what the MC6 PRO is trying to tell it to do. So the first thing we want to do is go into the menu, hit it once, hit it twice. There we are. Then we're going to go to assign. Unfortunately, the angle of this camera, my hand's going to get in the way sometimes, but we click on assign. We're going to choose assign 1 for our first assignment. So click on that first knob. First thing you see here is source, track 1, record dub. Now in our case, the source is saying, where is the communication coming from? What is the source of the communication? So actually what we want to tell it, the source is MIDI CC number 1. Okay, so MIDI CC number 1, if you remember, is what we set up the track 4 play record button. So press down on this knob so we can scroll faster, and then turn it clockwise until you get to MIDI CC number 1. And there it is. We're going to keep this guy at moment. Keep him at 0 and 127, and then we're going to page over. Now the target is basically asking, what do you want MIDI CC number 1 to do? In our case, we want it to track 4 record play. So again, on this first knob, I'm going to press down and then scroll clockwise until we go to track 4 record and play. And then it's a minimum off, maximum on. We keep that kind of how it was. Now we're going to page to the right all the way over to this little tricky guy that always gets me. And you want to make sure that you turn that on. It's your fourth knob. You just turn it, and there you go. Okay, so that's your first assign. And then our second switch, which is switch D on the MC6 Pro, we had that set to stop track. So we're going to go to the second assign, and we're going to go in source, and we're going to go to MIDI 2. If you remember, that's how we set up the MC6 Pro. So now there's MIDI 2, and we have it at moment 0127. We go over to target. What do we want the target to be? We want it to stop track 4. So we'll press down that knob and we'll get into the track 4 sort of area. And then we'll, without pressing down on the knob, scroll one by one to track 4 stop. There you go. You could also do track 4 play stop, but then you would want to change the other thing to toggle as opposed to momentary. And so then we page all the way to the left again and make sure you remember to turn that guy on. Okay, now for our third and final assign was when we set up switch D as a long press to clear track 4. So again, source, we're going to go to MIDI CC 3, keep that at moment 0127, page over to target. This time we're going to go into track 4 area, and we're going to scroll one by one till it says track 4 clear. And then we're going to page all the way over and make sure we remember to turn that guy on. Now we're going to hit 0. We're going to hit exit, and you'll see this guy and this guy and this guy is on. Number 4 is off because we haven't set anything up for him. And we're just going to exit all the way out. So if all of this worked right, basically what we're looking at is that when I press this guy on the MC6 Pro, he should start recording on track 4 on the RC600. When I press it for the second time, it should start playing the loop that we just recorded. Then when I press this guy, it should stop, and if I long press release, it should clear it. So let's see how this works. Okay, there we go. So now he's recording, and then we're going to play it back. Okay, there we go. So now he's recording, and then we're going to... Okay, there we go. So now he's recording, and there I stopped it. Okay, and then I'm going to long press on this guy. And then when I release it, it should delete track 4. There you go. So that's how I would set up the MC6 Pro to talk to the RC600. I would just follow these steps, play, record, stop for track 5 and track 6. Okay, I hope that helped.